Hey, Tom. Tom, what are you doing? Tom, what are you doing?
What's up?
We are live. What are you doing?
It's Florida, man. Voting day.
What are you doing? Taking a hit off? What are you hitting? What are you smoking there?
Amendment 2, man. Amendment 2. I'm self-medicating.
And you got an I voted sticker on your forehead.
I have a what?
You have an I voted sticker on your forehead, too. So you voted for Amendment 2? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
The marijuana thing?
Yeah.
Medical?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
We went out. How you do this?
There you go.
Gotta love Florida. You gotta love Florida.
It's the sunshine state.
I'm suffering from Islamophobia, and maybe this will help, you know?
I get all that. Don't cough. Cough for effect. Cough for effect.
All right. Evil weed, bad stuff. It's been a few years since this happened.
Did you inhale, Tom?
No, I did not inhale, and it's not real. Okay, let's get that settled right at the front. It's a stunt. I think a pretty cool little stunt.
Yeah, it is. It is.
To show the evils of marijuana, and we're voting on it here in Florida, Amendment 2.
We are.
And we have an interesting show for you on Election Day, November 4, 2014. We're going to go to the campus of Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida, visit some of the erudite, intellectual voters on campus, and then go over to the Amendment 2 table and see what the dudes are doing at table 2, man, and what's going on. As you know, Florida's trying to amend the Constitution to make marijuana legal. The medical thing has nothing to do with it. It's a farce. It's essentially free marijuana. If you watched our show yesterday with Joel Gilbert, who did an amazing film, There's No Place Like Utopia, he goes to Denver and finds a couple of pothead kids who have a license to buy medical marijuana. Remember what he asked the kid, Mark? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Kid goes, I got high arches, man. And he showed him his dirty foot. What a sad state of affairs that this state is even considering legalizing a drug that is destructive. It's a gateway drug. It's destructive to mankind. Oh, but Tom, there's medical. Well, if there's medical purposes, there's another way to do that. In fact, medically, doctors can use marijuana in certain situations, but to have free stores all over the place dispensing marijuana for a phony blowing license is absurd. Almost as absurd as the situation right now at 10 minutes after 4 o'clock in the afternoon where Charlie Crist, the Republican Independent is neck and neck with a proven leader in the state of Florida, Rick Scott. Anyway, hi folks, Tom Trento, WSBR Radio, 7:40 a.m. on the dial. We're here the next hour. You have 3 hours right now. We have to get out. Conservatives, you have to get out. Evangelical Christians,
you got to get out.
Politically conservative Jewish people, get the heck out and vote. Vote the Republican line. Vote against medical marijuana. It isn't medical marijuana. Vote against free drugs being distributed throughout the state of Florida. Anybody in their sane mind can see how absurd that is. Excuse me, Mark, for a second.
You got to do another toke.
One of the guys made a fake marijuana. It looks like a real one, doesn't it?
Hey, Tom, it's not fake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. I don't do, the most powerful thing I smoke is maybe a double Maduro cigar once in a while.
Well, that's pretty
They're
powerful.
even too strong. They're even too strong for me. But a guy who is strong for the state of Florida, a guy who can get us right up to date at 10 minutes after, now 11 minutes after,
All right.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's go to the committeeman, the national committeeman. This is no county guy.
Yeah, this is the big cheese. Yeah.
Village guy. This is the big cheese for the state of Florida. The Republican national committeeman, Peter Feaman, our dear friend, our in-house attorney, our mouthpiece whenever we get in trouble. And if the feds come for my little joint here, my
You're
fake
going to arrest
joint,
him here or what? Yeah.
we're going to be calling Peter up. Peter Feaman, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Trento. Well, it's a little less than 3 hours until the polls close. Every vote will count. Every vote will count. This could be another Bush-Gore squeaker in which it'll be a statistical tie. So people who think their vote doesn't count, it will count.
Peter,
we need every person listening to this show to go out and vote for Rick Scott.
Yeah, what was the number in 2000? I think it was 537. 537 votes kept Al Gore from
537. It's amazing.
It really is. And it
Correct.
could be. Hey, Peter, we hear quite a bit. Folks we're talking to around the state, very, very concerned about Democrat fraud, voter fraud. I went in this morning. I voted, as you can tell. My little sticker right here on my forehead, I voted. And they asked me for photo ID, and I pulled out a photo ID, and pretty sophisticated system. Went through a little iPad, had a sign, got my ballot, stuck it in. The guy next to me stuck a ballot in. It popped out. They said, you didn't vote for every category. He said he didn't want to.
You don't have to.
Yeah. So the system seems good. If evil people wanted to perpetrate fraud, how would they do it?
Well, I can tell you already there's been a story at Precinct 3130 at Winston Trails out in western Palm Beach County in the Lake Worth area.
Well, that's
a woman went in to vote west of the city of Lake Worth. A woman went in to vote. She voted in the August primary as a Republican, went in to vote today, and they said, sorry, we have no record of you as a voter. So I don't know if there's purging going on, but we have a hotline that people can call if there's any what they think is election impropriety, and I'll give that number out.
Okay.
To your viewers and listeners. The Election Day hotline for suspected fraud is 844-724-2651. And if there's any issues,
give me it again, Peter. Give me the
one
number
more
again.
time.
Yeah.
844-724-2651. And if there's any issues at any polling locations, call that election law hotline. We have lawyers standing by.
All right, so that's on the fraud issue. At 14 minutes after 4 o'clock East Coast time, Tom Trento, WSBR 740 AM on your dial, theunitedwest.org. Peter Feaman, Republican National Committeeman. He's the guy that represents the Republican Party for the state of Florida, third largest state in the union. He represents us in Washington, D.C. He's telling us there's a team of attorneys standing by. There's a hotline. We're going to put that number up. And if you suspect any fraud, I know our good friends over at 1470 AM, Steve and Brian in the morning, 6 to 9. Steve Kane has put, I think brilliantly, discusses a fraud gap
scenario
of 2 or 3 points where Republicans really have to win by 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, they're saying 2 to 3. I'll give it I know it's least a 1 point gap. So I'll split the different states at 2 point spread because running the numbers on that. Now, out in Colorado, it's actually worse, but here in Florida, there's still. So
there's
there
the
it is.
number right there.
Correct.
Hey, Peter.
Now,
all right, we have the Peter. We have the
bring
fraud.
you up to date as to what the votes were in early voting and absentees. Let me set the stage by saying in 2012, prior to Election Day, 155,000 more Democrats had voted than Republicans in 2012,
right,
leading into Election Day. This year, leading into Election Day, 100,000 more Republicans have voted than Democrats.
Wow.
So that's a swing of 255,000. So I'm hopeful it'll be enough to overcome the fraud that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
All right, on the other end, and that's a legitimate concern in this state, as we all know. We have Peter Feaman on the line, attorney in Boynton Beach, Florida, also the Republican National Committeeman for the state of Florida, representing the Republican Party in Washington, D.C. at the Republican National Committee. We're discussing the fraud issue, but also, Peter, we've done a tremendous amount of research, we at the United West here, and have determined minimally, about 1 million evangelical, Bible-believing Protestant Christians and about 200,000 or 300,000 Bible-believing Catholic Christians MIA on Election Day.
Yes.
They do not show up. What is the Republican Party doing to make sure these folks get out today?
That's a great question. You know, for the first time, the Republican National Committee created and funded and staffed a full-time department called Faith-Based Engagement. And it's the job of that RNC department to actually reach out to faith-based organizations in Florida and around the country to get them to the polls. So the Democrats have souls to the polls. We're countering that this year, and we're hoping that'll make a difference not only in Florida, but all over the country.
All right, well, that's encouraging, and the reason, folks, why this is so critically important at 18 minutes after 4 o'clock on another beautiful Florida afternoon on a very critical day. It's now 2 years to Armageddon. That's the election in 16. What are the ramifications, Peter Feaman, for the 2016 Armageddon election if Charlie Crist, the Republican-Independent, if he wins and leads the state going into 2016?
The ramifications, and both parties acknowledge this, by the way, the ramifications of this election in 2014 for the governor's mansion in Florida will have a direct effect on who wins the White House in 2016. If there's a Democrat in the governor's mansion in 2016 in Florida, we're going to have a much harder time having the state go red in that election. And the Democrats realize the same thing.
Right.
There has been more money spent on this midterm election from outside the state of Florida than at any time in any election.
Peter,
everybody knows what's at stake.
That's an excellent point. I mean, that has to be the number one point of all points is that one thing only. But I do have one other question for you about the state of Florida. There's 3 of the most liberal judges that are retiring or have retired, and I know Amendment 3 on your ballot was addressing that. Can you explain to the voters what the importance of voting yes on Amendment 3 is, and also what happens if Rick Scott gets beaten?
Yes, Amendment 3 would allow the governor, present governor, if he is not reelected, to make judicial appointments right up until the time of the swearing-in ceremony in January. It's sort of a fallback measure that was put on the ballot by the legislature in the event that the election goes the wrong way. So, therefore, the official position is to vote yes on 3 and no on 1 and 2.
All right, well, let's talk about 2 for a second. Let's talk about number 2 for a second, the so-called medical marijuana situation. What's your feel? What's the polling? What's that looking like? And folks, at 21 minutes after 4 o'clock, WSBR 740 AM on your dial, Miami to Palm Beach, theunitedwest.org. To amend the Constitution of the state of Florida, you need 60% people voting. What's it looking like on Amendment 2, Peter?
Well, I think first we need to set the context of how that ridiculous amendment got on the ballot. This was done by the personal injury law firm of Morgan & Morgan, John Morgan. He spent millions of dollars to get this on the ballot in the hopes that it would drive up turnout for Charlie Crist voters, because the prevailing philosophy is if you tend to vote yes for marijuana, you're a marijuana user or whatever, you're also going to come out and vote for Charlie Crist.
Right.
So the only reason it's on the ballot is because John Morgan spent millions of dollars of trial attorney money to get this on the ballot to help Charlie Crist win the gubernatorial election.
Mark,
It just so happens that the election,
we had the Morgan
amendment itself is really flawed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to be a doctor to write a marijuana prescription. I mean, there's all kinds of holes in it. The last polling number shows that it's going to get about 55%. It needs 60 to win. So we're hoping and praying that it will be defeated.
bad stuff here. Yes. Hey, can we get
really is bad stuff.
Peter? Hang on, Peter. Can we get Damon on, Mark, at the same time?
No.
No. Okay. We have Damon, our producer, at Florida Atlantic University at the polling station there and at the Amendment 2 table, and he's cutting in with some reports. And sadly, what you just said is true. We did some exit polling of the university students, and one of them in particular voted for Crist, very proudly so. She's a Democrat. And when asked about Amendment 2, oh, yes, and, you know, my aunt is dying and she needs marijuana. Like, there's no other drugs available for somebody, you know, to deal with pain. And then
it's if somebody's ill, it's like somebody's ill. You get bread and water or marijuana.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We have to approve.
But then, Peter, a very nice-looking, clean, you know, no hippie, no craziness, young guy came out, voted for Rick Scott, says, I'm a Republican. And the follow-up question was, what did you do on Amendment 2? He said, you know, I voted for Amendment 2. I think it's good. I think medical marijuana is good. The quantifier, medical marijuana, is confusing so many people. So you're right. You know, I mean, it's crossing the lines, but the college students seem to be breaking for marijuana. Ooh,
Well,
what a
yeah.
surprise.
Wow, that's a shocker, Tom.
A surprise.
I never would have seen that one coming. But I do have John Morgan and his support for the medical marijuana on videotape.
Oh, let's see that for a
It's
second.
actually pretty
Check this out.
interesting.
Hey, Mark, what's this thing on my head here? Why don't you tell me about this?
Hey, listen, I got to go in a few minutes, guys. I got
Okay.
other
We'll
calls
let you go
coming
right
in,
now.
but,
Give everybody one good reason why they should vote for Rick Scott.
jobs. You want to help your child get a job? Vote for Rick Scott. You want to help your son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter get out of their parents' basement, get a job, get a good start on life? Vote for Rick Scott.
And one good
He's
reason.
the job governor.
And one good reason why they should not vote for Charlie Crist.
How can you trust a guy who was, in the space of 18 months, a Republican, an independent, and then a Democrat? What kind of person is that?
It's like, is that not the class definition of finger in the air, which way the wind blows?
I just came up with a joke. It's probably out there, but a Republican, a Democrat, an independent walk into a bar, and the bartender says,
Charlie, hi.
Charlie, how you doing? All right,
Yeah,
Peter.
hey, what will it be? Hopefully he'll be serving campaign on the rocks.
Yeah, campaign on the rocks. Pretty good. Peter Feaman, thank you. Republican National Committeeman, State of Florida. You take care now.
All right, thank you.
And Peter,
Take
by the
care.
way, folks,
a great guy.
will be one of our guest hosts next week.
Yeah.
I will be on assignment, and Peter will be.
He'll be right in that chair, right there.
That's right. He will be sitting in. Mark, look at this thing on my head.
I know. I told you to take it off.
Stupid. You know, God. Here's where we're lost. Now we're gonna do the show, ladies and gentlemen.
But we do have that John Morgan endorsement of medical marijuana.
Now, John Morgan, for our viewers and
Right.
listeners, he's a high-powered attorney in the state of Florida, runs a PI firm, personal injury, dear friend of Charlie Crist, wanted to get Charlie Crist elected. So he came up with a brilliant idea, put marijuana on, and we'll go on the coattails of the marijuana voters. They're going to vote for you, Crist, if you go for marijuana, which he did. And let's take a look at John Morgan.
I was on the marijuana bus.
You got the video?
Morgan for the reefer.
Here it is, right here.
I didn't smoke a piece of grass.
Now he's drunk. Obviously, he's drunk off his butt.
But I'll tell you this. Once I get
Once I get outside the borders of Polk County,
I smoke a lot of grass.
I might smoke a lot of grass. This is John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan and Morgan.
This is the guy.
I'm just scared, blankless of Grady Judd. He's the sheriff of the area,
Oh, watch
Polk
those
County
words.
sheriff.
Okay, we got to take that off. They're starting to say bad words there.
This is out there already.
I'm here for one reason tonight, and one reason only. I'm trying to legalize medical marijuana.
I'm here to legalize medical marijuana.
Oh,
La, la,
yeah,
la, la,
yeah,
la,
those
la,
bad
la, la,
words.
la, la,
Some
la, la, la.
pretty bad words. All right, that's enough with John Morgan.
Yeah,
He's not
we're
fit.
just not here. We're going to effing do it.
Yeah, we're John Morgan. We can come back here.
Yeah, I'm
John
trying.
Morgan is not fit for G-rated radio.
I know.
And he's certainly not fit, folks, for helping Charlie Crist get elected because of the marijuana issue. That's the connection here, critically important. Now, if you've been following our show, we laid out many reasons,
And Morgan's
substantive
is a
reasons.
slime bag. Just his whole reputation of his office, his practice. You go online, you look at. He's
Yeah, you
just
don't
nothing
wanna-
but a slime bag.
Now,
lawyer.
those
Classic
are-
definition.
Those are enough reasons not to hook up with Charlie Crist, but we gave the other day on our show very specific, substantive, national security reasons why you ought not vote for Charlie Crist, particularly if you are a Zionist. If you are concerned about the nation of Israel as a national security partner, you don't have to like Jewish people, you don't have to like kosher food, you don't have to like anything. If you're concerned about the national security of the United States of America, Israel is on the forefront of the fight against Islamic Jihad, and we laid out evidence how Charlie Crist has failed in national security when he was in office, how he got mobbed up with Muslim Brotherhood leaders in the state of Florida. Then he left office, and then out of nowhere, President Obama, who has 6 Muslim Brotherhood officials in his administration, hand selects Omar Khan, a Muslim, as the campaign manager at the beginning of this year for Charlie Crist. That same campaign manager, Omar Khan, in 2003 was the president of the University of South Florida. While he was the student body president, Omar Khan, in 2003, he worked tirelessly to kill a law that the Bush administration had put up, watching Muslim students coming in from Muslim terrorist countries, just watching them in the United States, fingerprinting them on their entry, wanting to know where they are, wanting to make sure they left on their visa. What every single European country does, we did, and Omar Khan, the campaign manager for Charlie Crist, worked in 2003, then in 2009 with President Obama, killed that law. Now we have no controls over students coming from these 20 select terrorism Muslim countries. That's the work of Omar Khan, campaign manager hand-selected by Obama for Charlie Crist. Another reason why you ought to get out and vote for Rick Scott, national security.
Tom, we have Damon out on the FAU campus, and he has an interview lined up here. I thought you might want to go here live to it.
Let's do it. Live to Florida Atlantic.
Let's bring him on.
Florida
Okay.
Atlantic. Florida Atlantic. Go ahead.
Hey, Damon, how you doing? Can you hear us? Uh-oh, we don't have the audio. We have audio issues here.
We're gonna bring that. We have with our extensive budget.
How about now?
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
Okay.
we got it. We got it.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Hi, guys. I'm here on Florida Atlantic University, right outside the polling station. And I have with me here someone. Oh, I think I lost
No,
you
no,
guys.
you're
You're
good.
there.
You're
You're
good.
there. We
You're
got you
good.
good.
You're there?
Get your finger
Okay.
out of the camera.
And I have someone here representing the Maria Sachs campaign and the Democratic Party.
All right.
And your name?
Savannah Shepherd.
Savannah is here. Well, I saw her with the Maria Sachs sign, and she's actually a high school student here working for Maria Sachs campaign on a college campus.
Oh,
The bells are ringing for her.
And the bells are ringing.
we're doomed. We're doomed. The Western civilization is
For
doomed.
who the bells ring, we do not know.
All right, let me ask Maria a question.
Tom, Okay, Tom's going to have a couple questions for you, and I'll repeat them for you.
Is she old enough to vote?
Are you old enough to vote?
I am old enough to vote. I just turned 18 in September.
And did you vote yet today?
I did early voting.
Your first time?
Yes, it was awesome.
Did you vote for Rick
Fantastic.
Scott? Did she vote for Rick Scott?
Did you vote for Rick Scott?
No, I did
No.
not. I voted for Charlie Chris.
She voted for Charlie Crist, guys. Are you surprised?
Yeah. Why? Why did she vote for Charlie Crist, who was a Republican a few years ago?
Can you tell us why you voted for Charlie Crist?
Yes, his stance on like many issues such that are very central to me and personal to me, such as education and women's rights. They're all very personal to me. So I feel like if I can make a difference, just even by voting once or volunteering for a couple hours, that I feel like that's doing my part as a citizen of America.
When she says women's rights, what does she mean about women's rights?
When you say women's rights, what are you speaking about?
Just equal pay for equal work. Also, reproductive rights when it comes to abortion and access to birth controls and abortion clinics. And
Yeah. What now? When she talks about abortion, where does the unborn baby fit into that?
And when you talk about abortion, where does the unborn baby fit into that?
I feel like it's the woman's choice for no matter what. If it's an instance of rape or she's simply not prepared, I feel like it is in her best judgment to do what she believes is right, and no one else.
Birth
the government
control,
shouldn't have
yeah.
a say in that.
It's birth control.
What about the unborn baby? Does the unborn baby have a say?
And the unborn baby. Does the unborn baby have any rights in the Democratic viewpoint?
The Democratic Party platform typically doesn't say anything about the unborn baby because they're more focused on the women's rights.
They're more focused on the people that could
Yeah,
actually
they're-
vote. Than the
People who are actually born, you know.
right.
Well,
Speaking of focus, the Democrat platform in 2012 originally kept God out. Does she believe that God should be in part of the Democrat platform?
Originally in the 2008, did you say, Tom? or
2012.
The 2012 Democratic platform was that close to leaving God out of their platform. How do you feel on God being a part of the Democratic platform or not?
Personally, I don't see a place for religion in politics. I feel like it's irrelevant and not necessary, and there has been this doctrine of separation of church and state since the birth of our nation. So I was a little taken aback, but as long as we're not doing like prayers in schools or we don't take it to the degree that the Republicans have taken it, then I think that's fine.
And what degree do you think the Republicans have taken that?
Prayer in school, which
Right here.
prayer in school and stuff like that. Also, when it comes to the abortion debate, just and gay rights, gay marriage, like how God thinks it's wrong. I feel like there's no place for that when it comes to social issues and moral issues.
All right,
So I
ask
take
her-
it you believe in gay rights,
Yes.
allowed to be married.
Yes.
Ask her what her religion is.
And do you have a religion?
I'm more agnostic. I don't really believe
Agnostic.
in-
Did you grow up in a religious home?
Yes, I was born Catholic.
You were born Catholic,
Yep.
and now you're more of an agnostic.
Ask,
So you
ask
believe
her.
there's-
Ask her if she
There's
can score
something I
some
just
weed.
don't believe in.
Ask her if she can score some weed for me. Could she score some weed for me?
And how did you vote on Amendment 2?
I would, yes.
You voted yes. And can you score me some weed later? She said no.
No, ask her seriously. How hard is it on a high school campus?
No, how yeah.
How hard on a high school campus to find marijuana?
And on your are you still in high school, or did you just graduate?
I'm still in high school.
Is it hard to find weed on high school campus?
I plead the fifth.
She pleads the fifth, guys.
Oh, she pleads the
yeah,
fifth.
yeah,
Okay.
well,
All right, back to you guys at the studio, and get back to me in a little bit, and I'll have another interview for you.
Okay, so
All right,
thank you
thanks.
very much,
Thank you.
Maria. Thank you for your time.
Savannah.
Savannah, whatever your name is. Oh my God, Western civilization.
We're
is
screwed.
doomed.
We're so screwed, Tom.
doomed. Here's a 18-year-old.
That's a typical
Yeah.
person who grew up in a Catholic environment, rebelling and
Yep.
just going off the others deep inside, and just like la la la, gets into a high school, then gets in the college environment, and just
and the political philosophy. And, I mean, we all traveled that same path to some extent. The political philosophy is determined by the experiences and by friends.
Right.
There's no integrated view of what is right, what is wrong. It's just, oh, yeah, and oh, Charlie Crist, oh, it doesn't matter what he was. He's for abortion. I'm for
Right.
abortion. So that's the guy. And it always comes down to always with Democrats. I don't care if they're men or women. The abortion issue is always a
Boom.
key point with
That's like the
Democrats.
nuclear
and you know what
bomb.
the irony is? The Democrat Party that is very pro abortion and supports Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood, most of the abortion victims are blacks, which typically vote Democratic.
Yeah.
They're decimating. They're quadrupling, their own voting bloc. But many of the Democrat elitists hate blacks more than they hate abortion. So they propagate, and this is somebody who spent 30 years fighting the abortion issue inside
Right.
and out of this whole thing.
Well, what's really crazy about the whole abortion issue is it's just the rights. It's the right of the woman, the right of the woman, the right of the woman, the right of the, and then you come down to the end. It's like, well, does not the person? Well, it's not a life. It's not.
life.
Even at 9 months, it's not a life.
No, it's
I mean,
not. And that's the law of the land, and people don't understand that. Tom Trento here, 37 minutes after. Oh, wait a minute. That clock's not.
that's not right. I don't know what time it is, Tom.
I've been giving out the wrong
Because-
time. I should explain, folks.
30
Normally, we have several people in the studio.
One
producing
tells
the
him
show.
time all the time.
We got a one-armed paper hanger right now, and my clock is not set properly. So we have 23. I got to do math to
I
figure out
know.
what time it is.
Yeah.
It's between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon on November 4th, 2014.
Should I really help him out? It's 37 minutes after.
23 from 45 is what?
It's 37
I got-
after.
No,
I'll help you out. Yeah.
45, 20, 22 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 minutes left. So what is that
Yes.
after the hour?
What did I just say?
37
38
after?
now. Now it's 38. Right.
38. All right, 30. Well, then that stupid clock is right. Did you set that?
Duh.
Did you set it?
Why didn't
No, you didn't set it.
we just kind of stumbled onto it? Yeah, God
That is
said it.
bizarre.
God said it. Yes.
If it's
God
38 minutes after 4, then the clock that I go by is exactly right. Is that the time?
Yes.
That's a miracle. Because we did not set the clock. It was totally
All right.
crazy. Whoa, there is a God, and he's in our studio. I hope he can oversee this election here.
A sign from God.
I'm getting all kinds of emails today.
About
Carol Christ. Tom, that's Charlie's wife. She just sent me a personal email.
She did?
It's from her,
I liked your joke earlier, by the way.
Carol Christ. Which joke?
The one.
A Democrat, a Republican, independent go into a bar, and the bartender says, "Hi, Charlie." That one. I just got a personal email from Carol Christ,
Well, hold on. Let me bring up a pick here. Hold on a second.
but it says info at Charlie Christ. So maybe it's not that personal.
Carol Chris?
Yeah, Carol Christ.
I don't know what she looks like.
It's addressed to Tom. She's an attractive woman. It's addressed to Tom, and it says, Tom, the phrase make or break is a little overused right now. But that's the reality of what's going on. After today, our governor can once again be a man who spends every single day trying to figure out what political philosophy he believes. Oh, no, wait, it doesn't say that. Every single day trying to make life better for everyday Floridians. We can prove that elections can't be bought, that the people get the final say. This is coming from a millionaires. Make your voice heard. Confirm your polling location and then go vote. Charlie needs you and Florida's counting on you. Thanks so much. Now, go make some calls. That's from his wife, Carol.
Well, she is pretty.
Personally to me. We're going to put
got
her
her-
picture up. Let the folks see. And at home, I think that's not a real personal. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, that's her.
Pretty lady. There has been rumors of Charlie being gay and all of that. Obviously, he isn't. He's there with a very attractive woman. He's married. He has never come out saying he's gay or anything like that, though he was opposed to gay marriage. Now he's for gay
Or
marriage.
gay. Well, that's kind of like Obama.
You know,
It's
when
all
you're-
on. Which way's the wind blowing today, guys? That's what I'll be.
When you're opposed to gay marriage, you have a fundamental understanding of the nature of human beings and the nature of a construct of society that functions best when a man and a woman join together to form the building block of. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that viewpoint.
Right.
Then when you disagree with that, Okay, we can disagree, and we'll win the argument fundamentally. Emotionally, it's very difficult to beat somebody in arguments when they argue emotionally. But for a former governor, Republican leader of a very large state, to scramble up his philosophical foundation for the building block of society makes me think his political philosophy is not that rooted in principle.
The only thing Charlie Crist is opposed to is not being in an elected office.
Not being in office, good point.
I mean, look, I keep going back to that thing. This guy is just a political animal. If he can't be governor, I'll be senator. If I can't be senator, I'll be this. If I can't be this, I'll be this. The guy's just throwing it out there. Whatever sticks on the wall, I got to be a politician. I got to be, and he's got, millions of dollars, with his wife. He's married. Charlie Passion,
she's got a lot of bread.
He made the money the old way. He married it right there. So
let me let you in on a secret, Mark, okay?
right.
Is anybody listening or watching this?
No. So
Okay. If
be very,
Crist
very
wins,
quiet.
If Crist wins, which we don't want him to win, it's better for the state, it's better for the republic. But if he wins, it's better for us.
I know.
Do you know that?
Yes, I do.
It's better for us because now we have a gigantic...
Us as the United West organization.
The United West.
Not the Republican Party.
And
but
doing
it's
a
us.
radio show, daily radio show, when you have a gigantic ideological, confused target like him at the head of
he's
a
so
major
easy.
state, going into the Armageddon election of 2016, much better for us because we got something to scream and yell and rant and rave about every day. But for the record, we want him to lose because we love our country more than we love our bank account. Okay.
That's right.
Now, speaking of getting out to vote, the note the little Carol Chris sent me, our good friend Wild Bill
Oh, yeah.
did a very specific pointed video, released it earlier today,
Well, let me get it up.
and at 43 minutes after the hour. It's a motivational talk. And for those of you who don't know Wild Bill, you ought to sign up for his he puts about 2 or 3 very short 2 or 3 minute videos out each week. And he's got this kind of down home, real man mannerism that just communicates effectively. He's a former U.S. Marshal. He's a very serious Christian. And this message is for all people, I think in particular Christians, to get out and vote. So let's take a look at Wild Bill and his message for Floridians today.
Election Day, the day when Americans have the opportunity to make a difference in their country, the day when every adult citizen gets a vote. Unfortunately, this day is also whining, crying, bitching, and excuse-making day for far too many Americans. We spend 365 days a year either cursing or commending elected officials, all leading up to Election Day. Your vote counts. Yes, there are scoundrels who will try to cheat. Sometimes they will succeed. Sometimes they won't. If you fail to show up to cast your vote, you're helping the cheaters. Some whine about how they have to vote for the lesser of two evils. So, anytime human beings are on the ballot, it's always a choice between the lesser of two evils. Not happy with the choices? Then get active in the primaries so you can help get good people on the ballots. Bottom line, if you fail to do your duty as a citizen, to cast your vote for the best candidates, then you have failed your nation and shown yourself to be something less than a trustworthy American. Especially now, when this nation is under political attack by the most immoral scoundrels in America. Evil people who will stop at nothing to bring this nation down into the sewers of immorality, to collapse our economy, to eliminate national security in their sick quest to dominate and control every American. The voting booth is the #1 tool to fight back against the enemies of freedom. This day is the day when you, Joe Citizen, make your stand. Now, you can stand tall by doing your duty, or you can let your fellow citizens down by sitting home, not bothering yourself, giving up. Okay, that's enough slapping around of the bums. Let's have some fun. I think we should make Election Day more exciting. I was on the Harvey T show the other day and suggested that Election Day should be National Tailgate Party Day. Bring the kids and have cookouts, games, and music at every polling place in town. Election Day should be a national celebration.
I like
Oh,
this.
the enemies of freedom would hate that because they wouldn't be able to sneak in illegal voters without being seen. Mixed in with the hot dogs and iced tea would be video cameras recording every person who goes in to vote. That way, any of them who try to vote at multiple polling places would be in danger of discovery and prosecution. And in California, when the Democrats drive busloads of illegals around from polling place to polling place, they would be met by Mr. and Mrs. America, who would quickly put an end to that nonsense. Law enforcement agencies should also stand ready to preserve the integrity of our voting system. Any voting machine that appears to be faulty should be immediately taken for a forensic evaluation to identify mischief and to prosecute tampering. These are all little things that can be done to restore America's confidence in the system and to get good people more involved with the culture and life of their nation. This is Wild Bill for America. Wait a minute, I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't aggravated the trolls today. Okay, how about this? All you Bible-believing, rock-solid Christian churches, get your people to the polls to shut down every politician who opposes God's plan for marriage and families, and to find candidates who will pass laws to teach every student about the Judeo-Christian foundation of the United States. There, that should ensure that I get some hate mail to read with my morning coffee. And for all you Americans who want me to keep on aggravating the trolls, please consider becoming a monthly donor.
Yeah.
Help me get the God and country message to a wider audience.
All right,
Thank you for
Wild
watching, and America bless God again.
He's a great guy, deserving your donation. Right after you
Right.
send us a donation.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Us
send us the
first.
donation at the United West.
And we'll cut him a check.
And then,
Right.
then we'll cut him a check. No, hook up with Bill.
Yeah,
great
he's a
guy.
great guy.
Great message. Time to go to the Florida Atlantic University.
Yeah, we do have another.
Which is located in Boca Raton. Used to be a sleepy little kind of commuter school. Now there's 30,000 students. They got a what
Now
class
it's
is
a-
their football team?
Huh?
Class what they're in the they play some
FAU?
yeah they play some serious
Yeah, they play
teams.
some. Are they Division One? I don't know if they're Division One.
I don't know if they won or not, but
I don't
good
know.
school. I've taken many classes after 9/11. I went there for a while and studied under
Right.
Waleed Faris, and very good school. in
We do
fact.
have Damon. He's got another interview lined up here.
Let's go live to Florida
Let's
Atlantic
go live
University.
to Florida. Damon, are you with us?
I am here, guys.
Okay, move your shot a little bit more to the left there, Damon.
Move us this way.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, better.
Wow, high-tech stuff.
High-tech stuff. That's our direction. Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
This is going to be fun.
I am with Terrence Glassman, who is a volunteer with the Palm Beach County Democratic Party, and he's attending a small table here with some Charlie Crist stickers, Lois Frankel, David Silvers, and I just met
He's
Maria
a total
Stack,
sellout. Yeah.
and he is basically a volunteer with the Palm Beach County Democratic Party.
All right, ask him this, Damon.
Yeah,
If he were drug tested right now, would he pass or fail?
if you were drug tested right now, would you pass or fail?
Oh, I passed with flying colors.
Pass with flying colors.
I'm clean.
He's
Totally
clean.
Okay.
And I support medical marijuana. It's a compassionate thing to do. It's a
Compassionate.
very important thing for helping people who have degenerative diseases.
And what are some of your other issues that you're concerned about today, Terrence?
I'm concerned with women's rights. I'm concerned very much with the environmental issues, with what's happening with the global climate change and the flooding that we're already
This guy's a poster
experiencing
child.
in South Florida.
great.
The fact that Rick Scott is ignoring any of the environmental issues about addressing climate change. Charlie Crist is focused on what we can do to support the environment. I'm concerned about issues that deal with health, with getting
Ask
safe
him the
food,
number one. What's the number one
getting
environment
labeling
problem?
for the
in
GMOs
Florida?
that are being put in our food,
you gotta have to
stopping
stop him.
Monsanto
Cut him.
and the Koch
Hold on
brothers.
one sec. Yeah, Tom, go ahead.
What's the number one environmental issue in Florida that he's concerned about?
What is the number one environmental issue in Florida that concerns you?
The number one environmental issue would have to be at this time climate change and the effect that it's having on the groundwater supply, we're seeing the emergence of more salt water into the fresh groundwater, which is eliminating
So don't we need
the
more
well
hurricanes?
water,
Don't we need
which
more hurricanes
Florida
then?
depends on for safe agriculture and drinking water.
Well, if you remember, John Kerry last year said that global warming could be considered a weapon of mass destruction. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It is the most serious issue which is facing the future of the planet. I'm an architect, a professor of architecture for 30 years, very concerned about how what we do affects our planet and vice versa.
Oh,
Winston
geez.
Churchill once said, "We shape our environment, and
He's
thereafter
quoting
our
Winston
environment
Churchill.
shapes us."
Speaking of Winston Churchill, how do you feel about the Islamic movement and that global terror movement going on today? Because if you'll know, Winston Churchill didn't have a lot of patience for that.
I'm against any form of violence and terrorism from any organization. I don't attribute it exclusively to any one group.
So what other organizations do you know that
Against
chops people's
the,
heads off?
Proliferation of weapons and of guns. I think that we need to find peaceful ways to deal with one another. We're all here on this planet together, and either we learn how to live together peaceably,
How do you
or
do that
we
without
will
your head?
destroy ourselves. There's no alternative.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe that Islam is responsible for a great deal of the terrorism going on in the world today?
I think there are a lot of factors that are affecting terrorism in the world today. As I say, I would not attribute it to any single exclusive group. Historically,
All right, I got a
religion
question.
has been responsible
Go
for
ahead,
more
break in.
violence than
Damon can hear you.
any other aspect, and it's something that I think that we have to be
Tom
careful.
has a question,
we have
Damon.
to learn tolerance and compassion for one another and for each person's viewpoint, and not be
Here's my
trying to
question.
impose our way of
He
life
just blamed
or our
America.
views on
Yeah,
others.
blamed America.
Gotcha. Tom, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, he seems like a man of integrity. Tell him that.
Mm-hmm. You seem like a man of integrity. Tom would like for me to relay to you. Go ahead.
How could you vote for Charlie Crist, a man with no integrity whatsoever?
How could you vote for a man like Charlie Crist, a man with no integrity
Who
whatsoever,
was a
being
Republican.
he's now a member of his third party in 4 years?
People can learn. And I think Charlie Crist, there have been others who have found that, for instance, that they didn't leave a party, the party left them. And what's happened with the Republican Party over the years, as we well know, it has moved so far to the right with extremism and with the Tea Party that the principle.
Tea Party
that
are
got
extremists. Are Tea
someone
Party
like
as bad as
Ronald Reagan
terrorists?
elected, Reagan would be much too
he's
middle
making
of
the
the
case.
road to get elected today.
Ask him, is
So
Tea
there
Party
are
as
reasonable
bad as
people on
terrorists,
both
Damon?
sides of the aisle, and I don't think it's a question of is it a Democrat or Republican. It's do they support life-affirming values that
I
are
have a question,
sustainable
Damon.
for the future.
Speaking of life-affirming values, and you spoke about women's rights, where does the right of the unborn child fit into that equation?
There are many controversial points of view on when does life begin. I've worked with doctors. I've designed medical facilities. I know people on both sides of the argument. What concerns me is not just the right to life, but what happens to all the unwanted children in the world when they're born and they live in poverty and squalor. And I think that we have too much of that, and we should not be imposing values on women as to what their birth control
Hey,
choices
Damon, I got a
should be.
question.
I think it's up
Da-
to
Damon,
a woman
guys
and
are
her
like-
Damon,
doctor
give me-
to
I got a
make
question.
her own
I got a question.
decision.
Okay, hold on. We have another question for you from the studio, Terrence. Go ahead, guys.
You said earlier that Islamic extremists and Tea Party extremists, do you equate the Tea Party to the same level as Islamic extremists?
Let me ask you this. I have someone from the studio asking. You renounced the Tea Party as too extreme. Would you put what the Tea Party is doing to American politics on a similar plane as what ISIS is doing to Islam?
I think that we see the rise of extremism in different
Is
parts
that a
of
yes?
the world taking different forms. Certainly ISIS is a form of extremism, and it is giving a
So-
bad name to
Nail him down on this,
Islamists
Damon.
who
Nail him down
do
on this.
not believe in extremist viewpoints. There are good people and there are
Should we
self-serving
Should
people
we kill
in
the
any.
ISIS people?
And how
You know,
about
Should
the
we
Tea
kill
Party?
the
How
ISIS
about
people?
The Tea Party? Do you consider the Tea Party to be laying
He's
to
got a
be
line of-
extremists within the political system here?
I think that, yes, that they represent some extreme views, and I think that there is a certain
Damon,
ignorance
should we
of the
kill
Tea Party
ISIS? Should
that
we kill
it
the
is
Tea Party?
in reality not a
It's
grassroots
ISIS. Should we-
organization
should
as
we
it's
kill-
represented, but it's an extension of the billionaire Koch brothers who have funded all of the Tea Party activities and are doing it exclusively for their greed and their self-interest.
Whoa. You're saying that the Tea Parties are backed and founded and run by Koch brothers' money?
Yes, absolutely. And there is evidence of this.
Ask him
There
if
is.
ask him if the United States government should kill the ISIS
The
people.
funding
Yeah.
of the conferences of the Tea Party were actually done with Koch brothers' money. They have about half a dozen different organizations that funnel black money into these organizations.
Ask him if the ISIS people,
in
if
Tea
the
Party
government
don't
should
even
kill
know
ISIS.
that that's going on.
To get back to the terrorism thing, do you believe that the United States should destroy ISIS, physically destroy ISIS via weaponry?
Frankly, I think we have more pressing issues than talking about ISIS and talking about Ebola. The things that are happening right now in the world that are threatening our welfare, our future, our economy have nothing to do
All
with
right,
those
we got to cut
issues.
this loser off here.
The people who are
We need him
supporting
as a regular on our show.
militaristic
Ask him.
approach towards ISIS.
Ask him one last
you know, when
question.
Eisenhower
One last
You
question.
gotta
Tom.
you gotta cut him. You gotta
Cut
cut
him.
him.
Cut him. Cut him,
beware
David.
of the
We're running out of time.
industrial military.
Okay, we're on hard break. Hard break.
That's an issue for
No,
us
I got
to
one
be
last
aware of
question,
today
David.
that we've got to be concerned
One-
with.
Parents, I have one last question. We're running out of time on the show. And the last question, Tom, is
What would it take for him to become a Republican?
what would it take for you, Terrence Glassman, to become a Republican?
You just answered it.
Guys,
All right, take it
thank
easy,
you.
David. Good interview.
Thanks a lot.
All right,
And
bye.
the
Thank you,
man,
Terrence.
Terrence, who could not
Awesome.
stop
Thank you.
speaking,
Yeah, we're both going dead silent.
dead silence. You know, and the beauty of that, folks, was we deal with these leftists all the time. They have these talking points that they've just
And then once you
memorized.
get outside the talking point, they're
Now, when
lost.
you hit him with a logical question, Charlie Crist saw the light and he changed. What would it take for this guy to see the light and change?
Right.
Ain't changing.
It's only
He's
one change.
emotionally locked into. He's got a whole lifestyle. You can
He does.
see him.
He
you
does.
know?
He does.
All right. Well,
All right. Well, final thing, predictions, Tom. Predictions. Let's do
all right,
your
we got a
prediction.
minute left. What are the predictions?
All right, Florida. Which way is it going?
Charlie Crist will win in Florida.
Okay, I'll take 5. I'll take.
$5 bet.
I'll take Scott.
Yeah, I think the state's become too stupid.
Actually,
and
I'm
dopey.
actually believe with you logically, but I'm just going to make it interesting
Yeah,
for
well,
final.
all the people we're at the campus there.
Yeah.
But I think Crist is going to win.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen, but I think that's going to happen.
All right, there's 8 toss-up states that are kind of leaning. Do you think half of them go in the Senate, or
Oh,
just,
you mean on the Senate side?
Yeah.
Senate? I believe we the Republicans, I am a Republican, I believe the Republicans will win the Senate, have the majority in the Senate by maybe one person. I don't think it's going to change politics. I think President Obama will be highly motivated in the next 2 years to use executive orders and every other vehicle to destroy America even more than he has.
Yeah, the Republicans will be afraid to do anything against Obama, just like they did last time. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing's going to change. Everybody keeps thinking there's a big wave of change that's coming.
The
Nothing's going to
House
happen.
controls the money. They could have shut all this
Yeah,
money off. They didn't.
a
do
long
it.
time ago.
So now you control the Senate. What are you
Oh,
going to do?
what are you going to do now? Yeah,
We need more. We need different people in
Yes.
office in
it's ridiculous.
Washington. All right, guys, that's the end of our show. Thank you for taking this ride with us. And if you'd like to donate so that we can actually have better equipment in the field and a few more
Right.
people helping, we'll bring you this great stuff each and every day.
All right.
God bless America. And we'll be here tomorrow doing a little wrap up on exactly what took place. See you now.
Bye-bye.